The war room of the Galactic Union was silent. Huge blue screens floated in the air. Stars and planets moved slowly on them. Hundreds of alien leaders sat in long silver chairs. Their eyes were bright. Their faces were calm. They believed they had won. At the center of the hall stood General Zorvok. He was tall. His skin was dark green. His armor shined like glass. On his chest was a symbol of victory. He raised his hand. The hall became even more quiet. "Our war with humans is over," Zorvok said in a deep voice. "They are defeated. They are weak. They are finished." A soft sound of pride moved through the room. Many leaders nodded. One of them said, "It took only 3 months." Another laughed. "They were not ready for us." Zorvok smiled slowly. "Yes," he said, "they tried to fight, but they failed." On the main screen, battle scenes appeared. Human ships burning. Human bases falling. Human soldiers retreating. The aliens watched carefully. To them, it was proof that humans were nothing special. Zorvok continued, "We attacked their borders. We broke their lines. We destroyed their main stations." He pointed at the screen. They ran away. Some leaders clapped softly. The war was over, or so they thought. At the back of the hall, a young alien scientist stood nervously. His name was Dr. Kelman. He was small compared to others. His skin was pale blue. His eyes moved fast. He held a thin data tablet in his hands. Sweat formed on his head. He looked at the screen, then at his tablet, then back at the screen. Something was wrong. Very wrong. His hands were shaking. He wanted to speak, but he was afraid. No one wanted bad news during victory. Still, he stepped forward. Slowly, carefully. "To General Zorvok," he said. His voice was weak. No one listened. Zorvok was still speaking. "The humans will never return," Zorvok said. "They have lost their spirit." Kelman took a deep breath. He raised his voice. "General, please, I must speak." The room became quiet. All eyes turned to him. Zorvok looked annoyed. "What is it, scientist?" he asked. Kelman swallowed. I checked the human battle data again." He said, "There is something strange." Zorvok crossed his arms. "Strange how?" Kelman walked to the main control panel. He connected his tablet. New numbers appeared on the screen. Graphs, lines, energy levels. The leaders leaned forward. Kelman pointed. "These are human weapon outputs," he said. "These are their ship engines. These are their shield levels." Zorvok frowned. "So?" Kelman's voice became more serious. "They are too low." Silence. "What do you mean?" a leader asked. Kelman zoomed in. "During every major battle," he said, "humans used only part of their power." He pressed a button. A large number appeared. 40%. The room froze. Someone whispered, "That must be wrong." Kelman shook his head. "I checked it 5 times," he said. "It is correct." Zorvok laughed. "Impossible," he said. "No army fights at half power." Kelman looked at him. "But they did," he replied. He changed the screen again. Old battle clips played. Human ships firing slowly. Human shields weakening on purpose. Human pilots pulling back. Kelman spoke softly. They were holding back. A strange feeling filled the hall. Fear. Confusion. Doubt. One leader stood up. "Why would they do that?" he asked. Kelman answered, "I don't know, but it looks planned." Zorvok's smile disappeared. "Planned," he repeated. "Yes," Kelman said. "They never used their strongest weapons. They never opened full energy cores. They never activated final systems." The room was silent again. Zorvok walked closer to the screen. He studied the data. His eyes narrowed. "Show me their maximum level," he ordered. Kelman pressed another key. A red line appeared. It was far above the battle levels. Far above. "This," Kelman said, "is their full power." Some leaders gasped. It was huge. 10 times more. 20 times more. One whispered, "This cannot be real." Kelman nodded slowly. "It is real." Zorvok felt cold inside. For the first time since the war began, he felt unsure. He turned to Kelman. "Why hide this?" he asked. Kelman hesitated. I studied human history, he said. They are strange beings. How? Zorvok asked. They fight with limits, Kelman replied. They believe power without control is dangerous. He changed the screen. Old human videos appeared. Soldiers training. Pilots in simulators. Commanders talking. A human voice played. We never show our full strength. Not until the last moment. Another voice. Save power. Save spirit. Save hope. Zorvok stared. They planned this, he said quietly. Yes, Kelman replied. They wanted us to think they were weak. A heavy silence filled the hall. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. Red lights flashed. A loud voice echoed. Warning. Unknown fleet detected. Everyone jumped. Screens changed. Space appeared. Dark. Endless. Then, shapes. Large shadows. Dozens. Hundreds. Ships. Human ships. But these were different. Bigger. Darker. Stronger. Energy glowed around them. One leader shouted, "Those are not damaged ships." Kelman whispered, "They are new." A message appeared on screen. Simple, clear, cold. We were holding back. Not anymore. The hall exploded in noise. Shouts, cries, orders. Zorvok stood frozen. His heart raced. "Activate defenses," he shouted. "Prepare all fleets." But deep inside he knew this was not a normal attack. This was something else. Something they had never seen. Kelman looked at the screen. His voice was quiet. This is their real power. Zorvok clenched his fists. For the first time, he felt fear. Not for his army, not for his position, but for the entire galaxy. He looked at the approaching human fleet and whispered, "We never fought them at their full strength." The screens turned bright. The ships moved closer. The future of the galaxy changed in that moment, and the war was just beginning. The hall was still shaking from the shock of the human fleet's message. General Zorvok stood frozen, staring at the stars. Every pulse of light from the approaching ships felt like a hammer against his chest. The pride he had held for centuries was slipping away. He had never feared an enemy, not until now. "Kelman," he barked, his voice sharp but shaky. "Prepare a full report. I want everything we know about humans, everything." The young scientist nodded. His fingers danced across the holographic panels, bringing up files that no alien had ever seen before. Ancient records, battle logs, training simulations, human ships that had traveled faster than thought possible, weapons that could outmatch entire fleets. And most frightening of all, the humans themselves. The aliens stared, unable to believe what they saw. They are not just fighters," one officer muttered. "They are thinkers, planners, strategists." Kelman's eyes widened. "They fight with rules we don't even understand. They never act on impulse. They never waste energy. Every move is measured, every attack calculated." Zorvok slammed his hand on the table. "Explain this." Kelman took a deep breath. "I have been reviewing the first encounters we had with humans years ago. At first, we thought them weak. Their weapons were slower, their shields lower, their soldiers undertrained. But every time we crushed them, every time we thought the battle was over, they survived. Every single time." The aliens in the room exchanged uneasy glances. Survival against the Galactic Union's full might was almost impossible. Yet the humans endured. "They do not fight with full power unless it is necessary," Kelman continued. "And the more we think we have defeated them, the more they learn. Every loss is a lesson. Every retreat to strategy." Zorvok paced back and forth. His mind raced. He remembered the first battle on the planet Terravon. The humans were outnumbered 10-1. Every alien commander had expected an easy victory. Yet after 3 days of fighting, only 1/3 of the human army had fallen. The rest had vanished, like shadows, leaving nothing for the aliens to target. "Shadows," Zorvok whispered. "They vanished, and we never saw them again until they struck." Kelman nodded. "Exactly. They use terrain, camouflage, and deception better than any alien species I have studied. They hide in plain sight. then strike with precision. And every human seems to know exactly how much power to use at any given moment. Nothing wasted. Nothing left to chance. An officer scoffed. It sounds impossible. No species could be that disciplined. Kelman turned sharply. They are not like any species you have fought. Humans survive where others die. They plan for centuries. They train for generations. And they remember everything. Zorvok felt a chill. Generations? Yes, Kelman said. Their history is full of wars. Every time they were attacked, they learned. Every time they were defeated, they adapted. That is why they never reveal their full strength. They know we would panic if we saw it. For the first time, Zorvok understood. The humans had not just survived, they had prepared. Every retreat, every surrender, every apparent defeat was part of a much larger design. And now, Kelman said quietly, we are about to see the full extent of their power. Zorvok clenched his fists. His eyes flicked to the incoming fleet. The ships shimmer with energy, each one humming with untapped force. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. Every move of the fleet was synchronized. Every formation perfect. They are coming, Zorvok said, his voice tight. And they are not afraid. Kelman pointed at the screen. Look here. These are their command vessels. Unlike their fighters, these ships are heavily shielded. But more importantly, they are connected. They communicate telepathically through a system we cannot detect. One mind controls many. They act as one. Zorvok swallowed. A hive mind? No, Kelman replied. Not a hive. Humans are individuals, but they share thoughts and information instantly across their network. Their coordination is unimaginable. The room fell silent. For the first time, alien leaders realized the truth. They had been fighting humans, underestimating them for decades. Every victory had been a trap. Every retreat a setup. Every time they thought humans were weak, they had been preparing for this moment. Impossible, one officer whispered. We should have destroyed them before. Kelman shook his head. That was a problem. You never knew when to strike. They hold back. They hide. They never fight at full power until they are ready. Zorvok's mind raced. If the humans had been fighting at 40% before, then what was 100%? The answer terrified him. In a separate command room, human leaders were watching the same alien fleet. Captain Elena Vega stood at the center. Her uniform was simple, her posture confident. Around her, officers monitored every screen, every signal. We've held back long enough, Elena said softly. Her voice carried a calm authority that made the room tense. They have no idea what is coming. Her lieutenant looked nervous. Captain, are we ready for full deployment? Elena nodded. They think we are weak. They think we are defeated. Now they will see the truth. She touched the main console. Lines of light surged across the room, connecting every ship in the fleet. Shields powered up. Engines hummed louder. Weapon systems glowed with energy. The humans had been silent, patient, waiting for the right moment. And now they were ready. Back in the alien war room, sensors detected changes in the human fleet. Energy spikes. Power levels increasing. The aliens' confidence began to crumble. What is happening? One officer shouted. Their engines, their weapons, they are rising. Kelman pointed at the screen. They are activating full power. Every human vessel is at 80%, 90%, 100%. The alien leaders froze. Some staggered back from their panels. Panic spread. The ships they had destroyed before were now returning, stronger and faster. Every maneuver they had predicted failed. Zorvok's voice trembled. How can they be ready so quickly? Kelman's eyes widened. They were always ready. They just waited for the perfect moment. The human fleet advanced silently. Not a single shot fired yet. Their ships moved with precision, avoiding unnecessary collisions, conserving energy. The aliens had expected chaos, fire, screams, but there was none. Only calm. Only deadly preparation. Then a message appeared on every alien screen. A single line. Clear. Unforgiving. We fight at full power. Now you will understand. The hall erupted in chaos. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed. Alien commanders shouted orders that were ignored. Their ships were already reacting too slowly. The humans had anticipated every movement, every formation, every defense. Zorvok turned to Kelman. How do we stop them? Kelman shook his head. You can't. Not like this. They have the advantage. Every step, they have already prepared for it. Every trap, they know how to avoid it. Zorvok closed his eyes. Memories of past battles flashed in his mind. Every encounter with humans, every apparent victory. It was a lesson for them. And now, those lessons were being applied against the entire Galactic Union. One officer screamed, "We need reinforcements." Zorvok's hands tightened. There is no reinforcements. They are everywhere and nowhere. They fight on our terms only when they choose to. Until then, we are blind. The humans were not just strong. They were disciplined, patient, calculating. Everything the aliens were not. And now, the galaxy would see what the aliens have failed to understand for centuries. Kelman whispered, almost to himself, "They are not monsters. They are humans. And humans are terrified when they fight with their full minds and hearts." Zorvok looked out at the approaching fleet. A part of him wanted to run. Another part wanted to fight. But deep inside, he knew the truth. They were about to witness something no alien had ever seen. Something they might never survive. And as the first human ship passed the boundary of alien space, silence fell across the war room. A silence filled with fear, respect, and awe. The unexpected turning point had arrived. The silence of the alien war room was broken only by the low hum of failing systems. Every commander stared at the approaching human fleet on the main screens. The sight was both beautiful and terrifying. Hundreds of human ships glimmered like sharp stars in the darkness of space. Their formations were perfect, moving with an order that no alien mind could predict. General Zorvok's hands were clenched into fists. His armor felt heavier than ever. Sweat dripped from his forehead as he watched the humans advance, each ship glowing with energy levels beyond comprehension. They're organized, one alien muttered, voice trembling. Every move, perfect. It's like they know exactly what we will do before we do it. Kelman leaned closer to the screen. It's worse than that, he said softly. They are connected. Every ship is part of a network. Every decision is shared instantly. They fight as one mind. Zorvok's voice was low, almost a growl. They are not just ships. They are strategy, discipline, and precision all together. An alarm suddenly blared. Red lights flashed across the hall. Sensors detected that several alien ships near the outer boundary of their defense were being disabled. No warning shots. No loud explosions. Just sudden silence on the communication channels. Ships vanished as if swallowed by the void. What's happening? An officer shouted, panicked. They're destroying our patrols before we even see them. Kelman's face was pale. It's the first strike. They are using tactics we cannot anticipate. They are choosing when and where to hit, carefully, efficiently, lethally. Zorvok turned to his generals. Form defensive lines. Activate all shields. Ready the weapons. Fire the cannons at their approach. But it was already too late. The human fleet continued forward, moving through space like a river of light. Each ship carried a calculated power, enough to disable, enough to intimidate, but never reckless. Aliens fired blindly, expecting resistance, but the humans evaded effortlessly. Their movements were like a dance choreographed over centuries of planning, training, and survival. On the main screens, a large human command ship separated from the fleet. Its hull was black, sleek, and brimming with energy. A calm, composed voice echoed to the aliens' communication channels. "We warned you. Now you will see the consequences of underestimating humanity." The alien leaders froze. Some turned pale. This was no threat. They could sense the truth in the voice. Every word was backed by power, control, and purpose. Zorvok's jaw tightened. "Fire everything," he yelled. Energy beams, missiles, and plasma cannons shot toward the human ships. For a moment, it seemed like resistance might work. Some of the human fleet slowed slightly, their shields glowing brighter. But then, with astonishing speed, the human ships adjusted their positions. Every attack aimed at them was neutralized before it even reached the target. Aliens realized in horror that their own weapons had been anticipated, calculated, and rendered useless. Kelman whispered, almost in awe, "They know our patterns. They know our calculations." Every attack predicted. The alien fleet trembled under the unseen hand of the humans. Panic spread. Officers shouted orders that were ignored as more ships vanished under targeted precision strikes. Then came the first human salvo. It was not loud. It was not chaotic. It was perfect. One alien cruiser was torn apart in a single, clean strike. Energy flowed around it, ripping the hull from its core. Not a single piece flew into space carelessly. Every fragment followed a path as if guided. Every crew member on the cruiser was incapacitated instantly. No screams, no struggle, only sudden, absolute silence. A young officer screamed, dropping his controls. They are too fast, too strong. Zorvok's armor creaked as he leaned over the main console. His mind raced. He remembered what Kelman had shown him. The humans had been holding back. Every battle they fought before, every retreat was a test, a strategy, a plan. And now, that plan was complete. They never fight at 40% anymore, Zorvok whispered. Now they are at 100%. On the screen, the human fleet moved closer to the core of the alien defense. Ships that had been crippled in previous attacks were now back, faster, and stronger than before. Weapons that had seemed primitive now glowed with lethal energy. The aliens' calculations, once reliable, were now meaningless. The humans had rewritten the rules of war. Kelman pointed at the largest human command ship. "Look," he said, "that ship is not just leading. It's controlling the fleet. They are linked. Every human ship, every fighter, every support vessel. They are coordinated through that single command center. And it is intelligent, adaptive, predictive." Zorvok swallowed hard. They are learning faster than we can react. The humans opened fire in a calculated wave. Alien ships were disabled one by one, their defenses collapsing. The alien fleet scrambled, trying to retreat, trying to form lines, but every movement had already been anticipated. One commander shouted, "Form the backup formation, reinforce the outer perimeter." But another human strike, silent and precise, disabled half the outer ships before the aliens could even issue their commands. The panic in the war room escalated into chaos. Zorvok clenched his fist and shouted, "Focus all fire on the command ship. Destroy it." Kelman's eyes widened. "That's impossible. They are prepared for that. Every attack we launch will be countered, and they will strike again immediately." The human command ship moved closer, and then, for the first time, humans showed a hint of offensive aggression. Their weapons flared brilliantly, lighting the dark void like twin suns. Energy beams cut through alien ships, disabling their systems instantly. No alien had survived more than a second of direct fire. Then, as if to make a statement, the humans paused. They did not destroy everything. They targeted only the ships actively attacking them. Civilians, neutral stations, and communication hubs were untouched. Their precision was terrifying. Zorvok realized something crucial. They are not mindless killers. They are disciplined. They are merciful, but they can be lethal beyond imagination. Kelman nodded. This is a human way. They hold back when it's unnecessary, but when they strike, it is absolute. Zorvok's voice trembled as he looked at the approaching fleet. We have underestimated them for too long. Every battle we won, they were learning. Every retreat we celebrated, they were preparing. And now they are ready for everything. The humans continued to advance, their ships glowing with controlled energy, every weapon calibrated, every maneuver precise. The alien fleet was collapsing one strike at a time. For the first time in recorded history, the Galactic Union was losing against a species it had always considered inferior. Zorvok slammed his hand on the console. We must regroup, form defensive clusters around the capital planets. Kelman shook his head. It's too late. Every planet, every fleet already observed. They know the layout, the strengths, the weaknesses. Retreat is not an option. They are not just attacking. They are analyzing, learning, and adapting. The alien commanders looked around in disbelief. Some shook, some trembled, and some were silent, staring at the human fleet with fear. The realization hit them hard. They were witnessing something no species had ever done before. Humans were not just surviving. They were thriving under pressure, growing stronger with every move the aliens made. Then came a transmission from the human command ship. One line, clear, unforgiving. We warned you. You tested us at 40%. Now you face the full measure of human resolve. Do not make this mistake again. The war room went silent. Red lights flashed. Alarms blared. Every alien commander understood. The humans were no longer fighting to survive. They were fighting to demonstrate their full strength. And the galaxy had never seen anything like it. Zorvok turned to Kelman. Prepare a full report for the Council. Document everything. Every tactic. Every weakness. Everything. Humanity must not be underestimated again. Kelman nodded silently, fear and awe written on his face. It's already too late, he said. Outside, the humans continued their advance, their fleet perfect, disciplined, unstoppable. Every alien ship that moved was accounted for. Every attack anticipated. Every defense neutralized. The return of humanity was not just a battle. It was a revelation, and the Galactic Union would never forget it. Space trembled. The stars seemed to flicker under the pressure of the human fleet's arrival. Each ship glowed with energy that no alien weapon had ever measured. The Galactic Union had fought countless wars across centuries, but nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared them for this. General Zorvok stood at the command center of the flagship Vorik Prime. His green skin was pale, his eyes wide. Around him, alien officers shouted orders, but most were ignored as human ships slipped past the fences with impossible speed. They are faster, stronger, precise, one officer stammered. Every attack we predicted failed. Kelman, standing beside Zorvok, barely spoke. His fingers trembled over the holographic controls as he watched the humans coordinate their fleet. It's beyond strategy, he whispered. This is perfection. They are not just fighting, they are orchestrating. Every ship, every soldier, every weapon, synchronize. Zorvok's fist clenched. Prepare the full defensive grid. Deploy everything. Fire at will. It was already too late. The humans did not fire blindly. Their first salvo was quiet, almost clinical. Alien ships were struck with precision weapons, disabling engines without destroying entire hulls, taking out command modules without collateral damage. Ships were neutralized before they could respond. Crew members incapacitated instantly. No chaos. No screams. Only exact, efficient destruction. Zorvok staggered. They are not reckless. No, Kelman said. They are calculating. Every strike is intentional. Every move perfect. The human fleet advanced. Energy levels climbed to terrifying heights. Shields shimmered like liquid metal, absorbing blasts that would have obliterated any alien ship before. Weapons glowed brighter than suns. Every human vessel communicated telepathically through a network no alien could detect. One command ship controlled hundreds with seamless coordination. Zorvok's mind raced. The humans had been holding back for decades. Every retreat, every apparent defeat, every minor victory the aliens thought they achieved was a lesson. And now, humanity had unleashed everything they had been hiding. The first wave of destruction was surgical. An entire alien cruiser formation was disabled in seconds. No debris scattered, no explosions beyond controlled release of energy. Aliens watched in disbelief as ships fell in neat, precise lines. One officer screamed, How is this possible? Kelman shook his head. They are fighting at full power. Every human ship, every weapon, every soldier, connected, coordinated, unstoppable. Zorvok's jaw tightened. We underestimated them. Every time. And now there is no going back. From the flagship, Zorvok sent a message to the rest of the Galactic Union. Form defensive clusters. Activate all systems. Do not retreat. But the humans anticipated it. They did not attack blindly. Their fleet split into waves, avoiding the clusters and striking weak points with surgical precision. Entire alien stations fell without warning, lights flickering as the core systems shut down. In the command room, aliens began to panic. Orders clashed. Ships moved in chaos, colliding or drifting aimlessly. One fleet commander shouted, "We cannot hold them. They know our moves before we even make them." Kelman's voice was low. "It's true. They have learned from us. They predicted every strategy, every retreat, every attempt to regroup. They are unstoppable." The humans were not just fighting. They were teaching a lesson. Energy beams sliced through the void. Alien shields flared and collapsed. Command ships fell, one after another. And still, the humans did not show aggression beyond necessity. Civilians and neutral planets remained untouched. The humans were precise, measured, and merciful, yet deadly. Zorvok could barely believe it. His pride, his centuries of confidence in the Galactic Union, were collapsing before his eyes. Humans, a species they considered primitive, were now rewriting the rules of war. "Prepare the last line of defense." Zorvok shouted, "All power to the capital planet." But Kelman shook his head. "It won't matter. They already know the layout, the strength, the weaknesses. Retreat, regroup, everything is anticipated. Humanity fights with more than strength. They fight with intelligence, patience, and control." Zorvok's heart pounded. The human strategy was terrifying. They struck with force where necessary, held back where possible, and adapted instantly to every counter. No alien had ever faced an enemy so disciplined, so deadly, yet so restrained. The human command ship moved closer to the core of the alien fleet. It glowed with energy beyond imagination. Every weapon, every system, every ship under its command surged with power. A single pulse of energy disabled a massive cruiser instantly, a shockwave spreading through formation. Zorvok watched helplessly. They fight as one. One mind controlling hundreds. "Our fleet is nothing," Kelman whispered. "This is the power of humans. They have learned control, patience, and precision. Every battle they fought before prepared them for this moment." Suddenly, a transmission appeared across all alien communication channels. "This is your final warning. Humanity fights at full measure. Any attack will be met with absolute precision. Do not make the same mistake again." The voice was calm, controlled, deadly. Every alien in the room felt it in their chest. This was no threat. It was certainty. Zorvok's vision blurred. He realized that the humans had not only unleashed their full power, they had done so with discipline. No ship destroyed unnecessarily, no civilian harmed, no energy wasted. This was not mindless destruction. This was a war perfected. Across the battlefield, the humans advanced further. They disabled alien ships in seconds. Command centers fell silently. Communications jammed. Alien fleets tried to regroup, but failed. Every maneuver the aliens attempted was already anticipated, countered, and neutralized. Zorvok's voice shook. "We cannot fight them like this. Every attack we make, they learn instantly. Every defense we create, they bypass." Kelman's hands trembled as he analyzed the data. It's like fighting a living mind. One mind controlling hundreds. They are adaptive. They learn. They anticipate. And worst of all, they hold back until the perfect moment. The alien fleet faltered. Panic spread like wildfire. Officers screamed. Systems failed. Ships collided. The once proud fleet of the Galactic Union was being torn apart by a species they had long underestimated. And yet, the humans did not gloat. They did not celebrate. They moved with purpose, striking only where necessary, controlling every pulse of energy, every maneuver, every strike. Zorvok fell into his chair, exhausted, terrified, awed. They are humans," he whispered. "And humans are terrifying." Kelman looked at him, fear and respect in his eyes. "This is what happens when humans fight with everything they have, and yet they still show control, mercy, discipline. That is what makes them different." The war room fell silent. Red lights flashed. Alarms blared. The Galactic Union had never faced a foe like this. Never one so strong, so precise, so patient, and so intelligent. For the first time in history, Zorvok realized that humans were not just soldiers. They were teachers. They were strategists. They were the ultimate force when fully unleashed. And as the human fleet continued its methodical, unstoppable advance, the galaxy learned a terrifying truth. Never underestimate humanity. The stars themselves seemed to tremble as the human fleet pressed forward. Ships glowed like rivers of light, moving with flawless precision. Every strike, every movement, every command had been calculated. No alien formation could survive. No defense could hold. And yet, through all the chaos, humans showed control, discipline, purpose. In the war room of Vorik Prime, General Zorvok watched in disbelief. Sweat dripped down his forehead. His fingers were pressed tightly against the console. His once proud green skin now paled under the harsh red warning lights. Around him, his officers shouted in panic, but Zorvok barely heard them. His mind was focused entirely on the human fleet. They could destroy everything, one officer said, voice trembling. Every planet, every ship, entire systems. Zorvok shook his head. And yet they do not. They target only what is necessary. They do not waste energy. They do not destroy more than needed. Kelman, standing beside him, whispered, "This is a final lesson, General. They fight at full power, and yet they choose when to show it. That is what makes them terrifying." The human command ship moved closer. Its hull shimmered like a black star, radiating energy that felt alive. A single transmission echoed through every communication channel in the galaxy. "We warned you. You tested us at 40%. Now you face humanity at full measure. Any further aggression will be met with exact force. This is your final warning." The voice was calm, cold, controlled, and every alien command in the room felt it resonate in their chest. It was not a threat, it was certainty. Zorvok's jaw clenched. "Prepare all remaining forces. Fire everything. We must hold them at least long enough to regroup." Kelman shook his head slowly. They already know. Every move, every formation, every plan anticipated. Outside, the alien fleets were collapsing. Ships fell in precise, surgical strikes. Entire squadrons vanished before they could respond. The humans advanced not as savages, but as maestros of war. Every strike, every movement, every attack was controlled. And yet, there was no unnecessary destruction. Civilians, communication stations, neutral planets, all were untouched. The aliens had never encountered anything like it. Zorvok realized with a sinking heart that humanity's power was more than physical. It was discipline, patience, strategy, and morality combined. They could have destroyed everything, yet they chose restraint. He turned to Kelman. Why did they hold back? They could end this now." Kelman's eyes were wide. "Because they understand power, General. Power without control is dangerous. Humans have survived countless wars by learning restraint. They do not waste strength, and they do not fight without purpose." Zorvok swallowed hard. "So, all these centuries, every battle we thought we won, it was just preparation?" "Yes," Kelman said quietly. "They learned from every defeat. They improved every time. And now, they're showing what humanity is truly capable of." The human fleet reached the core of the Galactic Union's command center. A single wave of coordinated strikes disabled the central defense systems. Energy beams cut through the void, disabling power grids, engines, and weapons. Alien soldiers scrambled, trying to respond, but every action was predicted, every maneuver countered. Zorvok felt a crushing weight in his chest. His fleet, his life's work, his pride, all crumbling before the humans. And yet, the humans did not celebrate. They did not destroy more than necessary. They struck only where required, neutralizing threats without excess. One human ship transmitted a message directly to Vorik Prime. "General Zorvok, we could destroy your entire fleet. We could wipe your species from this sector. But we do not. We fight with discipline and with respect for life. This is what you fail to understand. This is humanity." Zorvok froze. His mind raced. Respect, discipline. They could have ended us, and they chose not to. Kelman nodded. That is their lesson. Power is nothing without control. Strength is meaningless without wisdom. They survived this long, not because they were reckless, but because they were deliberate. The human fleet paused. Their ships glowed brighter. signaling a peak in energy. But still, no unnecessary attacks. They had full power, yet they were calm, measured, and merciful. Zorvok turned to his officers. This is a lesson we must never forget. They are not just soldiers. They are teachers. And we have much to learn. The humans then made their final move. Not to destroy, but to assert dominance and teach a lesson in restraint. A massive beam of concentrated energy struck the flagship Vorik Prime, disabling its engines without tearing the ship apart. Systems flickered. Shields collapsed. The alien crew panicked, but no lives were lost. Every strike was precise. Every move calculated. Humanity had unleashed full power, and yet they preserved life wherever possible. Zorvok fell to his knees. He understood the truth now. The humans were not just warriors. They were the ultimate strategists, combining strength, intelligence, and morality into a force no alien species had ever faced. Kelman whispered, "They are showing us how to survive, how to fight, how to use power wisely." The human fleet transmitted one final message. The galaxy will judge you not by what you show, but by what you hold back. Remember this lesson. Do not underestimate humanity again. Silence filled the war room. Red lights blinked. The alien fleet was defeated, but not destroyed. Their soldiers were alive, their cities intact, their species spared. And yet, the humans' message was clear. They held all the power, and they would use it with precision, wisdom, and restraint. Zorvok bowed his head. They are humanity, and they have taught us a lesson we will never forget. Kelman nodded. Yes, General. Never again underestimate humans. Outside, the stars sparkled normally. Yet across the galaxy, the memory of this battle would endure. Aliens would speak in whispers of the species that survived everything, that had hidden its strength, and that had finally revealed its true power, not recklessly, but with control, precision, and discipline. And humanity would continue its rise, showing the universe that strength without wisdom is meaningless, and that true power is knowing when and when not to fight. The final lesson had been delivered, not with chaos, not with reckless fury, but with control, strategy, and mercy. The Galactic Union had survived, but it had learned humility, it had learned fear, and it had learned respect for a species it had long underestimated. And as the human fleet returned home, the galaxy knew one undeniable truth. The strongest warriors are those who know when to hold back, and when to strike with everything they have. The humans had fought at full power. They had shown mercy. They had won the war without unnecessary destruction. And the galaxy would never forget the lesson of the 40% that became 100%.